The 2026 Chevy Equinox is more than an SUV. It's your Sunday tailgate and your parking lot snack bar. Your lucky jersey, your chairs, and your big cooler fit perfectly in your even bigger cargo space. And when it's go time, your 11.3-inch diagonal touchscreen's got the playbook, the playlist, and the tech to stay a step ahead. It's more than an SUV. It's your Equinox. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with no artificial sweeteners and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
If you're having a private, intimate moment with another guy, what do? Close the door. He comes down, he goes to say, he's like, oh, whoa, you're having sex in there. You cannot have sex with the door wide open. Expect nobody to walk by and say, oh, but what are you doing?
This is the plaintiff, Justin Owens. He says the defendant, his very good friend, allowed him to move in with him. Then when he was living there, his brother's dog bit him. He knew right then he couldn't live there, so he moved out. The defendant ended up locking him out, won't let him retrieve his belongings. And friend or no friend, he's suing for the $3,683.62 he's owed. This is the defendant, Justin Almeida. He says the plaintiff had always been a pretty good friend, but turned out to be a terrible tenant. The guy was a walking disaster, breaking everything in his path. He has no idea why the plaintiff's suing him, because he took all his belongings with him when he left. He'll be very happy to wash his hands of this guy for good as soon as this case is over and he walks out the winner. He's accused of locking out a friend. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,400 for a new washer and dryer and unpaid rent.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Justin Owens, you are suing your former friend Justin Almeida for $3,683.62 in damages because, according to you, he has kept, after you moved out, a 46-inch flat-screen TV, a 37-inch flat-screen TV, and a Toshiba computer tablet. You are counterclaiming against him for a washer-dryer he busted and rent. What's going on?
Well, I met Justin at school, in high school, and then I was living in an apartment with another friend, and I lost my job, so I needed a place that was cheaper than what I was living in. So I asked Justin to rent the basement, the room in the basement that he previously offered me. So I went, and everything was fine for like the first month and a half or so.
Oh, you own the house. Go ahead.
So one day I came home from work with my tablet, and I left it on my bed to charge, and I went to the movies, and I came back, and it was gone.
Who do you think took it?
I believe it was Justin's brother.
Is that the brother? Okay. Why?
I have a hunch because it was still in the house afterwards. And I know
how many people were in the house?
4 people. Justin's brother, his girlfriend, and there was another guy that lived there.
Do you say anything to Justin about that?
I told him, I'm pretty sure that my tablet was taken because I've searched everywhere, and I don't really feel good about this, that I'm still paying for this.
What do you mean by still paying for this?
The tablet and one of the televisions was from Rent-A-Center.
Rent-A-Center?
Yes.
The 46-inch flat-screen TV?
Yes.
The 37-inch flat-screen TV and a Toshiba computer tablet were from Rent-A-Center?
Only the 46-inch and the tablet.
Okay. What about the 37-inch?
The 37-inch was mine.
Okay. Your lawsuit was for the value of a tablet, $800, but you've upped your lawsuit today to $1,059.47. Why? Because when you rent stuff, it costs a lot more than if you bought the stuff, right? All right. In any event, let's move on from this and let's talk about something else. So when did you stop paying your rent?
I didn't pay the last month of rent.
July?
July, yeah.
Okay.
July.
So you didn't pay July, and were you still there in August?
I was there until the 6th of August.
Okay. You didn't pay August, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. And then what happens? He tells you, listen, you got to get out. You're not paying rent?
No, I texted him that because the dog bit me the
Oh,
previous
tell me
week.
about the dog. What dog?
His brother has a pit bull, yeah.
Okay. Now, the brother, according to you, the brother doesn't like you.
I guess not.
And
He was
apparently
taking
the
things.
dog doesn't like you either.
The dog doesn't like me either.
Okay. And so tell me about it. What happened?
At first, me and the dog, it was fine because he was just a pet, and I'm great with animals. And then, I don't know, out of the blue, he just didn't like me when I was coming up to the house when I came off of work.
The pit bull would be loose in the front yard?
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't.
Stand up, please.
So I didn't like the fact that I had to deal with the dog every single time that I came into the house and left the house. So then I decided that it was a good time to leave. I mean, I already had things taken from me.
Right. But is that why you didn't pay rent?
Well, I told Justin, I'm paying you $350 for a room in the basement. And on top of that, I have to deal with your brother harassing me and the dog being outside. And they accused me of kicking the dog. And I didn't do anything harmful to the dog whatsoever.
Okay. Why doesn't your dog like him?
Because he kicked him.
Okay.
Right in front of my girl, kicked him.
Let
And
me
then
ask
the dog,
you, there's never an excuse for kicking him, but what precipitated the kick?
I don't know. The dog.
Well, what did your girl say? Was the dog growling at him or something? Was he on him?
Because I guess he don't like the dog.
Or did he
And
like the dog at the beginning?
Yeah, he was fine with the dog. Dog
So what
never
made him
growled
all of
at
a
him,
sudden not like the
nothing.
dog?
Don't know.
Okay. So what happened between you and your good friend?
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning, I guess. This is back when he was living with one of my best friends, and he lost his job. All right, so I figure if I'm giving him room for $350, he's a friend, and there's wireless and power, hot water, washer, dryer. I didn't charge him a deposit, did nothing like that. He's a friend, let him move in. Now it's the first month's rent due. I go up to him and ask him, he's like, oh, I don't have the money. Okay. I was like, listen, the only thing I asked you is to tell me ahead of time that you don't have the money. So now, next week, he said he'd pay me on Friday. I go into Friday, I don't have the money. Now it's the next week after that. He's like, oh, I got the money now, and he pays me. Now this is where the tablet incident comes in. Now, there's an app, it's called Grindr. It's where guys meet other guys. Now, he brings a random guy that he met on this app home. The guy was there, stayed overnight, tablet went missing. This is also the same incident when he said my brother was harassing him.
Okay.
He walked down, my brother came to say something to me, and he wanted to ask him a question. So, if you're having a private, intimate moment with another guy, what do? Close the door. He comes down, he goes to say, he's like, oh, whoa, you're having sex in there. You cannot have sex with the door wide open, expect nobody to walk by and say, oh, what are you doing? Then he goes, oh, your brother's harassing me. And then, now after that incident happened, I told him, when he told me his tablet missing, I was like, listen, call the cops. I have text messages prove that.
Let me see. Let me see.
It also states that he said he wasn't going to pay. He was behind 2 months on rent, and he was already going into the third month of not paying.
I don't mind you owing 1 month, but you owe almost 2 now, and I need the $350. Take it out of the tablet that your brother has. And then you answer, okay, that has nothing to do with me, and this is not right. So what happened with the washer dryer? You have
All right, on the second day he moved in, he decided to take a king-size quilt and put it in this little-ass dryer. Now,
Can you describe the dryer differently?
All right. Take a step back. It is a stackable washer and dryer.
Okay.
Now, it's small.
He breaks it.
Yes,
Okay,
breaks
so it's
it.
completely inoperable now.
Yes. I was like, all right, so I know you don't have the money.
To
We're going to
what?
go to pay for a washer and dryer. And then I go, well, let's go to Rent-A-Center. He's like, oh, okay. I go to Rent-A-Center. I put a washer and dryer under my name. He proceeds to still not pay me for anything of that. And now we're still at this point where he hasn't paid any of his bills.
Okay, so replacement washer dryer, $1,000. What's your proof on that?
I don't have a proof. I just
Okay.
went and compared
and
price.
the rent, the 2 months. We've been
sorry.
over that.
There's also 3 police reports that he incriminated himself on the washer and dryer. He also said that he didn't pay rent. And an officer said
That what?
he got all the stuff out of his house. Everything.
That
He
I
moved.
want. If you have proof on a police report that he got all his stuff out,
Hold on one second,
because
one
I have a police report that's him complaining that he didn't.
I wasn't able to get a police report because this would happen so fast between this and that.
If you filed something, you should have a copy of it. All right, now he is suing you for a 37-inch flat screen TV, the tablet, which we've been over, and a 46-inch flat screen TV. All right, I want to ask you first a question. If you are moving and it's under kind of bad circumstances, why would you not move your 2 TVs?
I was more concerned with getting the essentials out, like my bed, and the result was that I needed an additional trip, and when I came back, the doors were changed.
So you came back the same day you moved?
Yeah.
Who's the guy that you have with you?
This is my best friend, Alex Vitensky. He helped me move.
Come on up. 'Cause he's been raising his hand nonstop behind you, like, what do you want to say, my friend?
I received a phone call saying I need to move out. Tensions are rising in the house. I need help. I said, no problem. I drove my car out there. We loaded up his truck to the top. We put the mattress on top, and we took everything that we could, figuring we'll come back for one smooth trip with a couple of blankets and be able to lay the televisions down. And we moved all his stuff, came back, and he informed me that at that time the doors were locked and the locks were changed.
Okay, how did he inform you the locks have been changed?
Over a phone call.
Okay, and it was the same day?
That was minutes later. Yeah,
Minutes
we
later. All right.
split.
Did you see the TVs left behind?
Yes.
You're telling me you saw the TVs left behind?
Yes.
And then I came back, and there was nobody there. There were no extra.
And so you try to get in with what, your key?
Yeah, where the deadbolt used to be that I used my key, there was a doorknob.
Okay, so now you no longer had access because that
Correct.
had a different lock. So what'd you do?
So I knocked on the door. I yelled at the door. I was like, Justin, just let me get the rest of my stuff. I know Justin was home because his car was there, and I didn't know what to do, so I called the cops. And when they came, they were knocking on the windows, hollering for Justin, and there was no answer. So they were like, we can't go in, but you should come back tomorrow, and if you need assistance, call the police.
So did you come back the next day?
I did come back the next day, and I called for the
And
police.
those are the two police reports I have that say he's trying to get the rest of his stuff. According to him, you're not there and you're not answering, even though your car's there, when the police are knocking on the door. Address that.
I was downstairs asleep because I have work in the morning. I was.
Oh,
He
and
was
you
sitting
called.
there,
Wait, you
yes.
called the cops on him.
Like no,
but you went to sleep.
I told them, I was like, listen, I'm calling the cops. You guys stay here.
Did the cops come?
Cops come. Yes, the cops came.
What's on the missing police report? That he agrees he has all his stuff, or that you are claiming he has all his stuff? Put your hand down, brother.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. If somebody keeps bringing home, and this wasn't necessarily the issue in the case, but if they bring home people, random people every night, over and over and over, different people, is that grounds to break the lease?
That's no grounds. They're paying rent. It's no grounds.
What do you think?
It's not grounds at all. If they're paying the rent and they have the choice to, then...
Anybody have a problem with it? What do you think?
I think they should kick him out. I mean, if it's random people and they're staying the night, I mean, it's kind of like invading my privacy, you know? So I would kick him out.
Interesting. Okay, going inside. It's interesting that the guy is the one that would kick him out and the women going inside the courtroom.
What's on the police report is everything that happened, and I told them that he moved out his stuff. He did.
How come he's able to get any police reports, but you're not?
Because I lost the one that I had when he originally came back, and I showed to the officer.
What is your defense on the issue of the washer-dryer?
I put my blanket in the washer, and I did break it.
Okay. And then what is your defense to the rent?
Yes, and I do agree that I owe him.
Do you have a receipt for the washer-dryer so I can see how long you've owned it?
No, I'm sorry.
When did you rent the television set? How long ago?
I'm going to say a year and a half.
Do you have a contract for the TV?
Yes, I do.
Let me see it. Do you have a receipt for the TV? The other TV?
37. No, I do
Any
not.
paperwork you have?
The TV, the 37-inch, he found in the trash, just so you know.
Did you find the TV in the trash?
Yeah, that's the 37-inch? Yes, I found it in the trash.
That's a good fun.
And they literally just put it out. Did they put a sign on it that said it works? Did they?
No, it was just there, and I figured that I could fix it. So
Oh, did you fix it?
Yeah, I did fix it. I had it for a long time.
How long?
Until I was living with him.
All right. Oh my goodness.
At the bottom, it says, if you make all regular scheduled remaining payments on this agreement, you will pay $1,059.47.
Oh, that's how you got the figures?
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Here's the deal. All right. The first thing that there's no mystery on is, did you break the washer dryer and do you owe rent? There's no mystery about that. The only mystery involved in that is how much does the washer dryer cost? And when you don't bring any evidence to a court, you're stuck with whatever figure I pick out of the sky. So I am going to assess a depreciated value of $200 for the washer dryer. Okay? But you are entitled to 2 months, not a month and a half, 2 months of rent. Put your hand down and stop talking. Sit down. 350, go, or you could step out if you like. Okay.
Right to your left. Thank you.
So it's 350 plus 350 plus 200. On your counterclaim against him, I'm ruling in your favor in the amount of $900. But also, I'm going to tell you something. I know, you know, your brother knows, and I think anybody within the sound of our voice knows that you kept the TVs. And you kept the TVs as collateral. That is why the way this lawsuit comes to me is him suing you and not you suing him for rent. And you don't have a right to do that. It is very obvious to me that this stinks to high heaven. You have no idea who took your tablet. You're saying it's him who took the tablet because you know it's them who took the TVs, but it could have been anybody coming in and out of there. So no, you don't get to make them pay for that. But I believe you. When you say how we came right back, we were ready to come right back, and then I see the police reports showing it, and I know you're there, and your answer is, I was sleeping. Well, you are one soft sleeper. If a cop is banging on your window where you sleep, and you don't hear the guy and come out, the reason that you do that is because you kept the TV, okay? And then, you know what? I'm kind of sorry I let your brother step out because I want to say that to him too, because you know what my feeling is? It was his cockamamie idea. I know exactly what happened. You know exactly what happened. What's the value of the TV? Well, the value of the TV is not much. You might get $50 for that. That's the value of that. The value of the other TV, because you did this rent thing, right. So it would be the depreciated value of a 1.5-year, 46-inch TV. And I find the value of that to be $500. So I find in your favor a new lawsuit against him for $550. But normally I would just take that $900 and subtract it from the $550 and then order you to pay that rent. But if I really feel that you guys kept this TV, why in God's green acres would I let somebody with such unclean hands come in here and say, oh, and by the way, help me get my rent? Don't like it. Gonna find some punitive damages on what I find to be the willful conversion of his property, and we're gonna call it a day. And that is my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor.
For some reaction from the plaintiff coming out of the courtroom, what is your reaction to the verdict here?
I guess it's all right. I mean, I was gonna let the whole thing go anyway because he was my friend, and I'm not out to cut anybody.
How did a friendship turn into such a bad situation?
Well, I trusted him, and I guess the trust was misplaced because this isn't how I would treat my friend. You always find out the worst in people, I guess, when you live with them.
All right, right around the corner here with Officer McIntosh. All right, come on in here. What's going through your mind as you come out into the hallway here?
Oh, well, I wasn't going to go after money when somebody doesn't have money. That's why I didn't put in the claim in the first place. And so that's why
The
I
judge's
didn't waste my
conclusion
time.
that you hung on to those TVs to offset.
Like I said, I didn't touch any of his stuff. He told me he was done. He moved out all of his stuff. If that's what the judge says, that's what the judge says. Obviously,
Right.
she ruled in my favor. I mean, I didn't get anything. I didn't want anything in the first place, so.
All right, let's go to Harvey then.
Okay, again, this didn't have anything to do with the case. I just found it interesting. The reality here is that if somebody or your roommate keeps bringing home all these random people, unless the lease specifies they can't do it, it's not grounds to kick them out unless you can prove that what they've done poses some kind of safety or health risk. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 40% off, plus up to $500 off select appliances from top brands like Samsung. Get a fridge with 0 clearance hinges, so the doors open fully even in tighter spaces in your kitchen. And laundry that saves you time, like an all-in-one washer-dryer that can run a full load in just 68 minutes. Shop Spring Black Friday savings, plus get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
Good sleep is everything. That's why Ollie's Science Back Support is made with a blend of melatonin and L-theanine for both kiddos and grown-ups. So when your mind won't switch off, you've got something that can help. Your racing thoughts and restless nights won't stand a chance. Find Ollie Sleep Solutions for the whole family at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
This is the plaintiff, Michael Sarr. He says he dropped off his 1990 Lincoln at the defendant's shop for a new motor. And when he got the car back, the air conditioning didn't work. As he was driving it back to the defendant's shop, the engine started to smoke. The fan came off. It ruptured his radiator, and if you ask him, the defendant's totally responsible. He's suing for $5,000, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Richard. He says the plaintiff provided him with a new motor for the car, and it wasn't exactly the right one. He did all sorts of extra work, retrofitting the thing so it would function in the guy's car. He did all the work correctly. The plaintiff was happy and is now suing him as an excuse to fix his 22-year-old car again, this time for free. He's accused of junking up a jalopy.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff went to the defendant for a new motor in his Lincoln, and it was a disaster. But the defendant says the plaintiff is the one who provided the new motor, so tough. It's the case of start your engines. Everyone except you.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Michael Starr, you are suing Richard and his auto repair place. You've asked us not to mention your last name or the name of the place. Okay. For $5,000 that you say he owes you in repairs that you say were inadequate and stress and aggravation. Tell me what happened.
I had dropped my car off to him.
What kind of car?
It's a 1990 Lincoln LSC. It was a show car. It wasn't just an old car.
Okay, do you have pictures?
Yes, I have pictures.
Okay. So go on.
And he said I needed a new motor. So I got the new motor.
Was it the right motor or the wrong motor?
It was the right motor, but it came out of a Ford Bronco instead of out of a passenger car.
And therefore what?
Intake manifold, valve cover gaskets, everything had to be changed.
Okay, but
to
it's
make
doable.
it fit into this application.
But
Sure,
it's doable.
Absolutely.
Okay, so go ahead.
All right, so we agreed on $600. I called him the day I was ready to pick it up, and he told me it was an extra $300 that he had put new wires and new plugs and...
All right, now when you pick up the car and he tells you it's another $300,
Yes.
you knew that it was going to be something more, right? Because he had to change all this stuff in order to make
I did not know.
So why'd you pay it?
Because he had my car and he...
According to you, had you warned him that it would be something more?
Absolutely.
When?
When the motor was dropped off. How much, I did not know at that point.
Okay. All right. In any event, you say it's another $300 and you pay it. And that's the middle of the summer, and then what happens?
Yes, I paid it. I brought the car home. I live about 5 blocks away from the shop. And a tire was actually getting low. And I drove it to his shop to see if he could take the lug nut off for me so I could change the tire. And as I'm driving the car, the fan comes off of the motor and goes through the radiator.
Now, this is when?
A couple weeks after I picked up the car. But
when did you pick the car up?
About the middle of the summer.
Middle of the summer?
Yes. I didn't drive the car at all.
You didn't drive the car at all in those several weeks. According to you, do you have paperwork?
Yes. There's that, and there's a copy.
All right. Then when he purportedly brings the car back to you over the lug nut and the fan coming off, do you have paperwork from that date? This isn't the summer. This is April 4th. That's not the summer.
No. That's still when he dropped it off.
Okay, sweetheart, listen to my question because
Yes.
my English is perfect.
Yes, it is.
Okay. This is when he dropped it off.
Yes.
When he picked it up, he gave you another $300.
Yes.
Did you write paperwork on the date that he gave you the $300 and picked up the car in the summer?
No. March is when he gave me a $260 deposit.
What is that?
I write this up when I'm buying the parts and when I'm doing the job, and then I write
Let
a
me see
receipt.
what you got there.
Absolutely. And this is the second time he brought it back.
Why did you do paperwork when he paid for the car and picked it up in the summer?
Because I could not get in touch with him.
No. He's at your place handing you $300, which you have to pay taxes on.
Yes.
I know the answer. I'm not stupid. I just would like for you to stop acting like I'm stupid.
Oh, no, not at all.
Why don't you hand him a receipt that day when the customer hands you $300?
I don't know.
You don't know? I think you know. All right, he brings the car back to you weeks later. You say a month?
Yeah, about a month.
And so when you bring it back to him, you tell him, listen, the fan just on my way over here, because I haven't touched the car. You guys deserve each other. Because I haven't touched the car. And the fan just, how does a fan come off and go into the radiator?
The fan clutch broke.
What's a fan clutch?
The fan clutch is the part that holds the fan on.
When you put in the motor, did you have to take out the fan and reinstall the fan?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm not at
Did
fault.
you show it to him?
Yes, I did.
Did he show it to you?
All I seen was the fan came off and there was a piece of
Did you
metal.
see
And he had told me that I must have picked up a piece of metal from the street. He had told me That came around the fan. That's why the fan came off.
Did you ever tell him that it was something that he picked up on from the road?
I said it was a possibility.
All right, so now, this is now a couple of weeks after pickup in the summer. We don't know dates because nobody gets receipts. By the way, why do you pay somebody $300 and not get a receipt?
He didn't even have receipts that I...
But it doesn't matter because he can grab the nearest crayon and the nearest piece of toilet paper, and then you have what we call in the business a receipt. Anyone who's watched People's Court for the 12 years that I've been on this knows this.
Yes.
It's just you who doesn't know this.
I understand. I watch it all the time.
Okay. Well, if you watch me all the time, you would have gotten a receipt. But okay, you may watch me all the time, but I don't know what you're looking at because you ain't listening.
So, if you're in the middle of a raging dispute with an auto repair shop, do they still have a duty to protect your car while it's on their lot?
Yes, they do. It's still in their possession. They should make sure that everything's okay with it.
Fair enough. What do you think, sir? Oh, you're hiding. We'll go to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the professional thing to do. They took possession of your car. They need to take care of it.
Fair enough. Last word, sir.
As the garage keeper, he has the responsibility while it's in his care, custody, and control.
We are smart people going inside the courtroom.
Now, you leave the car there for him to fix it, and then something else happens. What happens?
The air conditioner wasn't working. I said, Richie, can you fix my air conditioner? He said yes. Now, to put Freon...
Is this yet another time?
No, this is right when
the same time with the fan.
When the car was there with the fan. Now, it only takes 5-10 minutes to put the Freon in the car. And the car was sitting there for weeks. So while the car was there, I'm waiting for him to put the Freon in. He calls me and tells me that somebody had broken into the car and stole the radio.
What happened?
About the burglary, the car's out. About another couple of months went by. Trying to get in touch with him to pick up his car. He never picked it up, never returned the calls.
Do you have any proof of what you just said?
No, I do not.
Okay.
The battery was dead. Boosted every morning, every night when I went home.
You boosted the car twice a day?
Yeah, absolutely. Did that for about a month or so until I couldn't get in touch with him, and then I left it outside.
And then you put tape on the window. Why would you put tape to cover his window and ruin his paint job? Why wouldn't you just put it inside the lot where the rain wouldn't get to it? Why wouldn't you call?
Because I was tired of putting it inside.
Why wouldn't you call him? You had a cell phone number for him?
Yes.
Did you get any calls from him telling you to pick up the car?
The same phone call that I was talking about with, he was saying that his worker has so much work, blah, 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 was when he told me that the car had gotten broken into.
Okay, did you call the police when the break-in happened?
No, I did not make a police report because there was no plates on the car. It wasn't registered, and I did not have the original loan. I could not get in touch with him.
But according to you, you have a feeling that you know who it is that did the break-in.
I knew who it was. I went to the kid's house.
How did you know who it was who did the break-in?
Because that kid tried to sell a radio to the luncheonette up the block, and the guy called me.
Oh, my God.
He said,
so
Richard,
why didn't you call the police on the guy?
Because I wanted him to go with me.
You didn't want the police snooping around your place either?
No, not at all. I got no problem with that.
All right. What am I supposed to do now with the damage to his paint job because of this tape? What kind of tape did you use to tape the...
I used masking tape. It was just tape to put a window. It was raining out. I didn't want the car to get wet. Only to make sure nothing happened to the car. He just wouldn't answer the phone.
And again, you did not bring me phone records to show the number of times you called him.
No.
Okay. I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case. I do not find in favor of you $3,000 for stress and aggravation. Okay, if that was actionable, I would be making a lot of money for my stress and my aggravation. I do not find in your favor on the radiator issue. I think that you would need some expert testimony from someone else saying that it was something that he did rather than that the item itself split. I do find in your favor for the paint, and I find in your favor for the radio. And therefore, I find in your favor in the amount of $1,530.54. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, let's see what the car guy has to say. The defendant comes out, well, on the losing end of this case, although he didn't collect everything he sued for.
Yes.
What is your reaction to how this came out?
It's the way it goes. I mean, it's not the truth, but.
What isn't?
Of what the judge ruled in favor of.
You think you handled the car correctly in every which way here?
Absolutely.
All right, well, the judge disagrees, especially on the paint, the radio.
No, the radio wasn't my fault. He didn't pick the car for months on end.
Why would he avoid you like that?
I don't know.
Come on, give me something.
It's Queens. How's that?
Queens, you know,
All right.
luncheonettes.
There you go.
All right, head right around the corner, okay? All right, so step on in here. Step on in. You satisfied with what you came out with? Not everything you sued for.
I'm pretty much satisfied, yes.
Why would he handle your car like that? Why wouldn't you pick it up? Why?
To be honest, there's like 4 mechanics on that block, and I actually had one to the wrong one. Like,
He was the wrong one?
yeah,
You didn't mean to go to?
Yeah, it was the one next door. My aunt sent me to that block, and it happened to be the mechanic next door I was supposed to go to, and I ended up going to him.
Why didn't you
Not
just
such a
take
good
your car and
mechanic.
go to the right one?
Because
Move it-
he had already put the
Oh.
motor in. He had already pulled my motor out.
All right, okay.
And he was doing sneaky stuff like a little cockroach, like sneaking around doing stuff. I mean,
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, this is called a bailment for hire. What that means is that you have to use ordinary care to protect the property that's in your possession if you were making money off of this, say, a repair shop or whatnot. And the fact is the defendant didn't do the job. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
K-pop demon hunters Saja Boy's breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop. You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
This is the plaintiff, Patricia Core. She says she went to Mexico for a week's vacation, and when she returned home, she couldn't believe her eyes. Hurricane Sandy had destroyed her place. When she called the defendant, her landlord, and asked for her security back, he pretty much laughed at her and then cursed her out. Bottom line, she wants the $5,000 he owes her and is suing for just that today. This is the defendant, Joe Nitty. He says the woman's son, who just got out of jail, decided to treat the plaintiff's apartment like a frat house and partied it up while she was in Mexico for a vacation. The son violated the lease. He was evicting them before Sandy hit, and his lease states if you break any terms of the lease, you forfeit your security. Sorry, lady, you lose. He's accused of causing a storm of controversy.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff went on what she thought was a fabulous vacation, but when she returned, her place was a disaster thanks to Hurricane Sandy, and she can't even get her security back. But the defendant says the storm should have been called Hurricane Plaintiff based on the damage she did. It's the case of raising Hurricane.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Patricia Court?
Yes.
You are suing James Joe 1 LLC, represented here by Joe Nitty?
Yes.
Okay. You're a co-owner? Who's your other co-owner?
James Eiler.
Again, that's you?
Yes.
Okay. For $5,000, the statutory maximum in your state in this type of case, $1,675 in security deposit, your portion of the November rent, $129, plus double damages of $31.96, which I guess you picked in order to get to the $5,000, but we'll do the math later. Okay. Tell me what's going on.
Your Honor, I went to Mexico from October 29th to November 3rd.
And what'd you go to Mexico for, vacation?
Yes.
Okay, to where, Cancun?
Riviera Maya.
Okay.
I come back home to the house being destroyed, the Hurricane Sandy happening. I can't get in the house because
the house is destroyed, why?
Because of the storm.
Which storm, your son or Hurricane Sandy?
Hurricane Sandy.
Okay, because you know what they're saying, right?
My son, there was 2 little holes in the wall. I had them fixed.
Okay. How old is your son?
23.
Where had your son come from?
He came out of jail, and he was on an ISP program.
What is an ISP program?
Intensive supervision program.
Did you get the landlord's permission for him to live there?
I requested permission from him about 4 times, and he never got back to me.
So why did you let your son live there?
I was moving anyway to get a 2-bedroom because it was a little 1-bedroom box apartment.
So you didn't care about following the rules?
I don't even have a signed lease with them.
Does she have a signed lease with you?
No.
Yes, Your Honor, I have the lease with
Can
me.
I have a copy of the lease?
The first year I moved in, there was a signed lease.
Oh, but it had expired?
Yes.
Yeah, but you know when you stay over that, you know, the terms that you have with the person, they don't magically become something different without a superseding paper. And in this, it says that you can't have anybody living there that you don't have the landlord's permission, right? Is that a yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you leave your son there and you go on a trip to Riviera Maya.
Right.
And you come back. Did you know the hurricane was coming when you left?
No. The storm happened on the 29th. I'm sorry, I left on the 26th.
Oh, you left on the 26th.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So it's the 26th through the 3rd.
Right.
That's
It was
better
from a
trip.
Friday to a Friday.
Okay. So The storm hits, and when you come back from vacation on November 3rd, what do you see?
The house being destroyed.
How is it destroyed?
I
Do you have pictures?
Yes.
Yeah, let me see. The house, is it a house that you're renting?
It's an apartment complex.
An apartment complex, and it is just, wow. This is your actual apartment?
This is the outside of the bottom floor. My apartment was upstairs.
Oh, show me the pictures of your apartment. That you said your apartment was destroyed.
They should be in there.
Is that the hole that you're talking about, 2 little holes?
Yeah.
But this is after the storm.
No, that was before the storm.
It's nothing to do with the storm.
No,
because that's what you're
it.
telling me. It's uninhabitable and blah, blah, blah. And so
Well, no, it's uninhabitable because there's no running water. The building is condemned.
Okay.
Because as soon as I got back, they told me right then and there, you don't have a home to go to.
Did your son stay there?
No, he was
Okay.
locked out of the house because they broke the key off in a deadbolt.
Who did?
The landlord.
Okay.
To not let him back in there.
So go on.
So now I had to wait a couple more days to get in to get a locksmith.
Do you communicate with the owners or their management company?
Yes.
And what'd they say to you?
I said, Joe, and he said, yes. I said, this is Patricia Core, 129B, and he goes, oh, my new favorite person. I said, excuse me, what is that comment for? Well, your son had a great time where you were away, and your son put holes in the walls, and the one hole was put there from me. The other one was put there from him. I fixed them both. I paid for them to be fixed. I said, I'm only calling you to get my security back so I can move. So I get off the phone with him. I spoke to one of my girlfriends. She says, don't talk to him anymore on the phone. Don't subject yourself to being spoken to like that. Just file a claim in court. So that's what I did.
Okay, let me hear your version.
Your Honor, it is true that Storm Sandy came, but she violated our lease in several items, having her son live there without our permission. The police had to come several times.
Do you have any proof of that?
I do. I have 5 or 6 call sheets.
Do they have the dates on them?
They have the dates on them and the time and the cause.
10/23, 10/27, 10/28. What were the police being called for?
So if the son caused more damage than the amount of security, should the landlord be able to keep the security deposit? What do you think?
I think he should be able to keep it. I think that's reasonable.
Because?
I just think...
Well, just obviously because the damage was done. Now, what about the argument that the hurricane trashed the building anyway?
But there's proof that the son did the damage. It's the son's fault.
That's what the lease provides, I'm sure, as well.
Well, the lease provides that the tenant's responsible for damage, and there was damage to the unit.
Correct, yes.
End of story.
Yeah, end of story.
Fair enough, going inside the courtroom.
The place was being treated like a fraternity house. There were beer bottles being thrown out of windows. There were football games being on the lawn, disruptive, loud music.
Okay.
In the letter, I outlined the violations, and I also outlined where she forfeits her security because of these violations.
Where in the lease does it say that? Tell me where you want me to
Paragraph 9.
Yep. Show me where to read.
Do you have this letter?
I not only have the letter,
Okay.
I went to Georgetown Law School. I'm asking
I'm
you
sorry,
to
ma'am.
show me, not because I'm a dunce, but because I don't see it. You're telling me I don't have to prove the damages, I get to just keep it because she violated. Show me where it says that. Or is it just a regular lease like every other lease says, which is, if you violate the lease and you cause me damages, I keep your security deposit to cover it.
It's the second thing,
Okay,
Your Honor.
fine, let's move on from there. So now you're gonna show me pictures of cigarette burns and that kind of thing in this rug. Because even if the building is condemned, it doesn't mean he has to take a wrecking ball to the building. It means he has to fix the things that are wrong. But if you damaged it and not Hurricane Sandy, you have to pay for it and not Hurricane Sandy. Get it? Okay, so I'm looking at the rug.
I put some before and after photographs there.
All right, so this is the before, okay. And then this is the after. Okay, so there's a bunch of stains on the carpet. Do you smoke?
Yes, but outside.
Did you take pictures when you left?
Yes.
Can I see your pictures?
I only took pictures, those 2 pictures of the wall.
But what are you going to tell me about the carpeting? Because I have pictures of the carpeting
The
before.
only thing I can say, I would have done it, but there was no electricity and no running water to clean it.
All right. At some point during the first day, your first days back, there was a meeting of some kind in the building, correct?
Right. One of the women that lived there, Fran, I was upstairs with my girlfriend, Lori, packing. And she says, Patty, come down. We're having a meeting with the landlord and the tenant. So I asked Lori to go down with me, and she did.
Coming up, Lori. Mm-hmm.
So I says, who's Joe? And he says, it's me. I said, can you do me a favor? I'm Pat Core from 129B. Please don't talk to me vulgarly. He goes like this, in quote, you're a piece of crap. Your son's going to jail. You're going to probably follow him into jail.
Were you there?
Yes. Yes, I made her go down to see, because I wanted to see what he had to say, because like I said, there was no running water, you couldn't even live there. So I wanted to hear what
Well,
he
he
had
didn't
to
cause a
say.
hurricane, but
yeah,
okay.
no, that's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right.
And you know, he spoke very vulgar
Were you cursing her
language.
out on the phone,
Yes.
Joe? Who's Joe?
I'm Joe.
Were you cursing her out on the phone?
I don't speak like that.
Okay. Did he speak like that according to you in front of you?
Exactly what she said with the son, and you know that he's screwed up, and she's right behind him, and
Did you say that to her?
Well, I don't want to curse, but
did not.
You know, and then
Were you at that meeting?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Did you see that little confrontation?
I gotta admit, we didn't have a whole lot of real good things to say about her son, just because of all the police reports, complaints from the tenants down there, but I did not hear Mr. Nitti swear at the plaintiff over
Okay.
there.
Were you asking for your security deposit at that point?
Yes, and
Right.
he wasn't there yet.
Okay. Can I see your bills for the repairs to that apartment?
Has not been repaired yet. It's uninhabitable because there's no utilities. Her unit was not affected
But
except for
still,
utilities.
now, still?
Yes, that's correct.
Really?
Before
Do you have
Sandy.
estimates for me so that I can figure out how much of the deposit you should be able to keep?
I brought no estimates.
Okay, because I think that I've explained to you what you get to keep is what you're damaged. So you would always, in this position, have to prove what your damages are.
The other damages to the property, Your Honor, are that one tenant just refused to live there anymore.
Do you have any proof of that?
I have letters from the tenants.
Okay, can I see the letters?
Yes.
Did anybody actually move as a result of the sun?
Yes, but I don't have their letter.
That's the one that...
But I have the letters from the other tenants
Complaining?
complaining.
She has people living in her apartment. They're causing damage. I think her son is living there while she's in Mexico. I want you to know this apartment complex is out of order because of PACCOR and the people living with it. Really? It's not out of order because it's condemned? All right, I got it. Let me tell all of you a couple of things. Next time you leave an apartment, make sure to take pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? If you've damaged the carpet, part of your security deposit they can appropriately keep for this problem. Do you know what you paid for that carpet?
$1,500.
How do you know?
We replace carpets when tenants leave, and that's the price it costs per unit. It's a contractor's price we have.
All right, we're done. Between the carpeting and the wall, he would be entitled to keep the security deposit. Those are damages that occurred and that are going to have to be cleaned up by him before he can re-rent the place. They have other issues about that building, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to have to fix this before they can re-rent that place. And you can't get the security deposit back based on what I'm looking at there. Frankly, if I were you, I would make my son pay you. Unless maybe some of that carpeting was your fault too. But that's my verdict. Verdict's for the defendants. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the defendant does keep the security. What's your feeling on the outcome?
There were no cigarette burns on that carpet when I left. The kitchen was spotlessly cleaned, as well as I could do with no running water or electricity.
Okay. And how about your son's wild parties and stuff like that? Sounds like he had a good
What
time.
23-year-old do you know when a parent goes on vacation don't have people over?
What about yours?
What about mine? They'll never do it to me again.
Will you make him pay for some of the damages, teach him a lesson, or
No.
let him slide on this one?
No.
Okay. All right. Right down the hallway there. You step in here and tell me what's your feeling on how this came out.
I think we're both pretty happy about the way it came out.
Mm-hmm. You going to rebuild this place after Sandy?
We're in the process of that now. And again, the offenses happened before the storm, and you have to protect the integrity of the complex, and you have to abide by the rules and regulations of the lease.
You're going to reopen it after
Yes,
Sandy?
we are.
We'll do our best.
Harvey?
You know, to reinforce what the judge said, pictures are critical in these cases. And by the way, from both the landlord and the tenant, when you move into an apartment unit, take pictures, and when you move out, take corresponding pictures. It makes all the difference.